What is up, guys? It's me, Rivah, back again with another video. If you're new here, my name is Rivah, and I'm here to give you guys my reaction to this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and just press play. We're going to get into this. I saw Pearly post this video, and I don't know, I just thought it looked really interesting. So we're going to see what the conversation is about, and then I'll give you guys my feedback. Oh wait, hold on. Not me fast forwarding it. Okay.
That's why a lot of men are afraid of getting married, is because they're like, it's the cost is so great if you get divorced. Like, that's 20% of your income. That's a lot. So, but on the other hand, you have like legal protections as a girl. So it's like the power shifts. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how it is.
I just think it's all about the examples that you have of a marriage. Because whenever I hear young people talk about marriage, it always sounds so down. I can't have no fun. I can't, I've got to give up everything.
Sometime in the future, kind of like, I will one day.
And there's nothing wrong with being submissive. All the women see submissive as a bad thing. It's not a good thing if you've got a man leading you. A marriage for a woman is great. She's got nothing to lose. She can go in with nothing and she can come out with everything. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just like, if you've got a good example of marriage, then you will see marriage as a good thing. And around me, I've had good examples of marriages, because my mum and dad were married. I got my mum and dad. They were great. I had some old people that were married. They were great. I remember I saw this woman and she was like well-spoken and she was married to this man who had money and they'd been together for years. And I said, how do you do it? She said, compromise. She goes, look at him. And she was all well-to-do and he was there at the bar drinking. She goes, and she'd actually helped him put his money away to retire. And marriage is a great thing. I think sometimes it's the examples that people see around them that tarnishes it to make it sound like you're going to lose everything. Because there's people out there with marriages that travel together, have fun together. It's not about, I'm going to get married to have children. It's, I'm going to get married to be committed to this person, and then we grow together and children will come.
Do you think?
Before anybody, filters in on that comment, I got to say that I completely agree. You don't hear women who were raised in the household with their mom and their dad, turning around and saying, like, I don't need no man, okay. I will say if you do have women who grew up with both parents that have that mindset, it's a rare occasion, right? It's not the majority of women. The majority of women who grow up and they love their daddy and they love their mom and they've seen like a beautiful relationship, they have no problem. Like, they understand the value of marriage, especially if they've seen a beautiful one, is what I'm saying. The women who have like kind of like filtered mindsets is modern women who are influenced by society and they have no, way to view their family in a certain way or family structure in a certain way just because they out here trying to be city girls. Or if they've had like a toxic example in front of them. But as she said, people who have seen beautiful relationships, they don't grow up talking about they don't need a man. Like, those women don't turn around and say, I don't need a man. I could do bad all by myself. I don't need nobody. Like, you just don't see that narrative being painted. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't see that from ahead of them. They saw their mother rely on a great leader, rely on a man, a provider, whoever. And so they actually don't mind, or they actually don't have a problem emulating that, or they don't want to live a life without that. So I completely agree with what she's saying. I 100% agree with that.
Just quickly, that the options that young people have now has made that more difficult.
Too many options.
Because there was a time where, it's in your local area, you go to church or wherever you go and someone knows somebody, and now it's worldwide.
Well, I think the development of birth control changed the game. Because
before we even get into that, before we even get into the contraceptives, I think a lot of options, just mainly in the workforce, right? Because back in the day, women had to rely on their man. So there was no, I'm not going to be with somebody, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, because they understood the value because they literally could not live without their man. So you mean to tell me that the more intelligent that women get is the less that they value family and family structures? The more opportunities that women have is the less they value family and family structure? Like, that's disappointing. That's disappointing. It just goes to show that women can't, and not on a whole, obviously, but it just shows that women cannot manage power. The more power that women get, they internalize things, and emotionally they change their mindsets. Right? Then they make emotional decisions based off of the power that they have. Oh, because I'm this, you're this. So I think that is one of the biggest changes. And it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. Women should be able to advance in their careers and still, have great relationships and great husbands and families and children. But it just shows that most women are not able to carry that balance. And then look at their men and show them respect.
Used to be consequences. So if you slept around, like, you likely would get pregnant.
Yeah.
Where then you could just sleep with whoever you wanted. And so if you look at, it's really interesting, if you look at graphs of when the divorce rate started to go up in the Western world, it's like the same as when like the number of women on birth control. Rollo Tomasi tweeted it. If you want to go to his Twitter, it's actually really interesting.
Because men can't get pregnant.
Yeah, well, and then that gives that's why women push off marriage later and later. It gives them more time to lock down like the high value guy. And that's the other thing, is like girls think they're hotter than they are in 2022, because a girl that's a 4, 5, 6, or 7 can sleep with a guy that's an 8, 9, or 10, but he would never be seen in public with her. He's just sleeping with her.
It just is
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, his girls will think their level is the guy that they're sleeping with, but it's not. It's the guy that you can get to commit to you. So that then you have girls that are shooting down the guys that are actually on their level.
Okay, Pearly just came in with that like she just unleashed a clip, okay? And it's so true, because a lot of women have this mindset that exactly what she said, that because a man is sleeping with them, that is, the opportunities that they have. And it's like she said, he will never, you're only a sneaky link. You're only called at 2 a.m. You're only called at 3 a.m. You can never spend the night, right? You bring the toothbrush to the house and you try to leave certain things, you come back, it's in the garbage. Right? Like he was like, no, I don't want this here. But they're equating the fact that, well, because he's fine, so am I. And it's like, no, like, you're easily accessible, and it's harder for men, especially in certain areas, tax brackets or whatever, to be able to be intimate with women. Right? That's just the reality. That's just being truthful. It's easier for a woman to sleep with a man than a man to find a woman that's going to agree with sleeping with him. So it's just the levels.
Oh. And so it leads this. That's why it's 50% of women over 30 are single and childless.
Then they try to go back to the guys that were on their level.
Yeah, that, and
the men don't want them.
Yeah, because
that's why they're left behind.
They're with someone on their level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm curious, because you're a bit older, so what? I'm just curious. What are you're familiar with red pill? It seems like. Do you see that older women get past? How do I put it? The guys they rejected earlier will turn them down later.
Yes, it happens a lot. It happens because you see the women and they think, oh no. I remember there was a man and he was he didn't look. Young guy, didn't look all that. Nobody was after him. He became a dustbin man, Nobody was after him. And they got older and he got more handsome and then he got a nice car and everything. Everybody's after him. You know why? Because they realised how much dustmen wanted, how much they earned. Mm-hmm. And then when they were after him, he didn't want them. He got some girl, He was a dustman. I think he married like a lawyer or something like that.
Okay.
Because she saw his worth. And it wasn't how much he earned. He was a good guy with potential. But nobody wanted him at the time. But now all those women now, 3 children, 4 children. What?
There's a lot of women, and I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. There's a lot of women who are in relationships and are possibly even in marriages, and they actually belong to another man. Okay? Some wives are on Facebook looking at their exes' pages, looking at the new family, the family that they could have had, daydreaming about him, mentally in a relationship with that man while they're in a whole marriage, a whole committed relationship elsewhere. And their man has no idea. So you have a lot of men who got she in her mind, she settled or she took what she could possibly get, but she genuinely wanted somebody else. You have a lot of people that are in relationships like that.
I'm going to want to take on you with 2, 3, 4 children, over 35. Why?
And what mistakes did you see younger girls make when it comes to dating? And what mistakes maybe did you make and you learned from?
I got pregnant on the pill.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, first time pregnant on the pill. I was on the pill.
And you never missed a day?
Never missed a day. I was only on it for about a month.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I got one child, because I learnt my lesson. But nowadays it's like, it's too easy to go and get rid of a child. It's too easy to go and say, right, I'm going to get birth control and I'm going to sleep with everyone because I'm not going to get pregnant. It's not going to bother me. But what the young people don't realise, every time they sleep with a man, you're giving away a bit of yourself.
Yeah.
So by the time you've reached 35, there's hardly anything left of you because you've given it away to all these people. And they don't realise that men can sleep with women. It don't mean nothing to them, but women sleep with men and it's emotional. And every time you sleep with a man, you give away a bit of yourself. And that's what the young people don't realise, that they're just giving themselves away.
And I want to say one point too, like it is an emotional thing for some men, right? But for the majority of the men, it's not. It's a situation that happened. It was great, and he's moving forward. For a woman, majority of the women, it's emotional, and for a slim, set of women, it's not. And it is that. I always try to use the analogy like you're the one that's being entered, like he's the enterer, right? So because he's the enterer, it's a very different thing than when somebody's entering. And I think that I would love to keep having these kind of conversations, especially to our women, just making better choices, and also valuing themselves. Again, if somebody values themselves, we don't even need to have these kind of conversations because they will know just by their own self-worth that everyone doesn't deserve access to you. And that's male or female, right? As a male, not every woman should you go lay up with or impregnate or marry, right? And same for as a woman. Not every man should be able to just access you, sleep with you, be intimate with you, get you pregnant or whatever the case is, So I think that we just need to teach both of our young men and our young women value, self-worth.
Bit by bit by bit.
Do you think women have gotten better or worse over time?
Worse.
Why?
Because they just think they're all that. They're independent, they've got their own money, they can do what they like, they don't need men, and then when they need the men don't want them. But they do need men. They just don't realise it yet.
Why does a woman need a man?
That's what I mean. They just don't realise it yet. Because you try surviving on your own without a man. You cannot wake up in the morning and go through your whole day without having to rely on a man for something.
Like what?
Like everything around us.
Whether you go, you get your petrol. Whether you go and you get the bus. Whether you the clothes that you wear in the shop, the designer. You cannot get through life without a man.
Men built the world.
I love Auntie. Okay, I love her. Because that's how you show the levels of maturity, right? And also the mental level, not even just maturity wise, but just intelligence. Because she's thinking, I don't need a man. What do I need a man in my house for? I could do battle by myself. But who built the house? A man. Who are you paying your rent or mortgage to? A man, right? Like some big man at some bank. Okay, exactly. How are you going to get gas? The designers you're wearing, who made that? The microphone that's being used, do you know who made these things? And I'm not saying that every single thing is exactly a man, but it's just using the point that it's broader than her mindset can even fathom. She's thinking here and it's here, right? She's thinking low level and she's not realizing like the road that you drove on to go here, men built that road. So if we take all men away, what's going to happen? Who's going to be the builders? Who's going to be the ones who are building new highways? Who's going to be fixing the highways? Who's going to be the garbage men? Who's going to do these jobs?
Like they do all of the hard jobs in society, everything that makes the infrastructure run.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we don't need men. That's not my view at all. But I just feel like this is like that.
Oh, now that's not her view. Oh, okay.
I'm left over. I feel like the things you're saying and the over-reliance on men, that's what perpetuates that view because it makes it seem like a woman literally can't survive without a man. And I feel like you're linking that. Like one thing you mentioned earlier, you said that there's a link between divorce rates and when women were able to get access to birth control. And I feel like in terms of marriage, like when you're equating marriage with that's when a woman's going to have kids and
she's gonna take some of the man's income in that sense. I feel like I've lost my point now. I forgot.
Well, that's the whole point. Is because you're talking about how you feel. That's why you can't relate to the conversation, because you're speaking from how you feel, right? And people are speaking logically. That's why you can't necessarily relate to the entire conversation. But also, when it comes to women not being able to, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with women not being able to live without a man? What's the problem in that? Like, what is the, why are you disagreeing with this? Like, why is that where you draw the line in the sand? Why is that something that's looked at as negatively? Like, to me, I look at that as a positive thing. Like, a woman can't live without a man or survive without a man. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But why do you look at that through a negative light, and you're trying to find a reason why you can prove that a woman can live without a man? That's a question that you have to kind of like ask yourself.
What I said to
But
begin
you say
with.
a lot of I feel like. There's a lot of feelings. Is there any, do you come from a place of logic, or is this all feeling?
What do you think is feeling?
So I can do.
What do you think is feeling?
No, because you say, I feel like. So
Okay,
I was just wondering if you're saying that.
So do you want me to say I know?
No, I don't know. Is it all feeling? If you tell me it's feeling, then it's feeling.
I don't think it's feeling. This is what I mean. I feel like women have... What do you want me to say?
That's just how
So
girls
that's
talk.
how
It's how
it's
girls
saying,
talk.
Yeah, what do you want me to
okay.
No, but she could say, in my opinion, or whatever. But from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So even though that is how a lot of women talk, or that's how girls talk, it's not just a coincidence, because women operate out of emotion. That's why more times than not, you have a lot of women who say, I feel like, because women are more emotional based, or more emotion based. So that's where that saying comes from. That's why Pearly can say, oh, that's how girls talk. It's because women are more emotional. So that's why they create that conversation. Well, I just feel, or I feel like, or, you're hurting my feelings. Like, that's like a woman kind of tone. Instead of saying, in my opinion, or, well, I think this, or I think that, it's more of like a feeling.
Okay.
So, from what you said about divorce rates and birth control, I feel like that's where women have gained.
It's over. It's over. That's where women have gained.
Same as when.
I don't know what they gained. But I have a feeling she's going to go down the road of liberation. And again, how liberated can you be when it's somebody who's entering you and you're not the enterer? Okay? You're like, I'm so liberated to do what I want and have had as many people enter me as they want. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you guys' feelings on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I, of course, will see you guys in the next video. Love you. Take care.